If you have no trouble at all doing, you don't need this podcast. If you struggle making your dreams happen, listen up. This is Love Your Work, and I'm David Cadavy. I'm here to help you cut out the noise to focus. It's so easy to get caught up in ruminating over what we might do. I know I ruminated over starting this very podcast here for more than 4 years before I finally took action. Fortunately, the guests here on Love Your Work are all doers, and they tend to encourage doing instead of thinking. Having that constant reminder has helped me take action in growing this podcast or in writing my new book and many things. But sometimes doing, instead of merely thinking about doing, is easier said than done. That's what this article is about. And one thing that can stand in the way of doing is hassles. With SendPro from Pitney Bowes, you never again have to deal with the hassle of standing in line to buy postage. Because with SendPro, you can print postage for carriers like USPS, UPS, and others straight from your computer, no special equipment necessary. Plus, you save money on postage. Visit pb.com/loveyourwork. Try it free for 90 days. After that, you'll get SendPro for only $5 a month. Stamps.com is $15.99 a month, so SendPro is only $5 a month. That's 3 times the features, 1/3 the price. Pretty good. That's PB as in peanut butter or Pitney Bowes, pb.com/loveyourwork. And just by listening to Love Your Work, you are a part of this show. How would you like to be an even bigger part of this show? With Love Your Work Elite, you hear ad-free interviews weeks in advance, and you get fully produced episodes a couple of days early. Most importantly, you become a part of making this show. You become a part of putting Love Your Work's message out into the world. So far, the audio hosting expenses of Love Your Work are now fully listener supported. Pretty cool. Next up, I'd like to get the publishing assistance. That's the help that I hire to publish the episodes and show notes. Wouldn't it be awesome if that was fully listener supported too? I hope you'll sign up. You're going to feel great being a bigger part of this show. Go to cadavy.net/elite. That's cadavy.net/elite. Here's the article. 3 simple ways to stop thinking and start doing. Have you ever noticed that you can read the same information over and over and it never sinks in? There are entire industries of self-help or marketing tips or cooking tips that never get used, all because of this phenomenon. Have you ever noticed that once you execute one time, suddenly it's easy to do it again? Suddenly those inspirational blog posts or those shady marketing tactics don't have the appeal that they once had. That's because execution makes knowledge real. Once you stop fantasizing and start doing, a switch flips. We're wired to want to continue seeking information, even when we have all that we need. It's called the information bias. It's also a form of resistance. We don't have to admit to ourselves that we're scared to get started, that we're paralyzing ourselves with perfectionism, or that we're simply afraid to suck. No, instead, we're convinced that we just need more information. Some people are natural executors. James Altucher has built companies, produced a television show, and written well over a dozen books. When I asked James on my podcast how he became so prolific, he said, "I always thought I could do anything." And I was disappointed. If James was always an executor, what hope was there for people like me who struggle to make our work real, aka normal people? Here's what James said. Always make sure you're doing little experiments every day to move yourself forward on the things you're interested in. In other words, in order to do. It sounds like a catch-22. But once you have the mission of being a doer, there are simple adjustments that can make action easier. 1. Build a habit. 2. Cut out distractions. 3. Practice motivational judo. 1. Build a habit. When you start with a creative habit, you eliminate excuses that prevent you from doing. You build the skill of shaping, and you get sharper. 2, cut out distractions. You can cut down distractions in your digital life, and you can cut out distractions in your physical life, such as by going minimalist. With fewer distractions, you can focus on doing. 3, practice motivational judo. If you understand the psychology that holds you back from doing, you can use it to your advantage. Start with a habit so ridiculously easy that you can't stand to miss a day. I publish a 100-word Medium article every day. I use techniques such as these to quadruple my creative productivity, and I'm even using them as I share what I learned adding productivity features to Google Calendar in my new book, Getting Art Done, which you can sign up for updates for at gettingartdone.com. If you can simply do, then go ahead, by all means, get doing. If you sometimes struggle to do, make a few changes to make doing easier. I hope that will get you taking action instead of thinking too much. Now, go take some action. But if you still need some encouragement, try listening to Laura Roeder on episode 9. Laura is CEO of Meet Edgar.
Because once you decide, you can see how it goes. This is the problem, right? If you're just thinking about doing a podcast for 4 years, in that whole 4 years, you're not able to improve the podcast. You're not able to see, what topics people like, or if it's going to do well, or if it's not. You don't know any of those things until you make it, until you launch it. And then you can make all those adjustments. So I've just seen how important it is to just put something out there, to just make it live, to do it. And then you can see how it goes.
Again, Laura Roeder is on episode 9. Or you heard the James Altucher quote in this article. That is from episode 53.
Doing things is how you get things done.
Again, James is on episode 53. And if you appreciate all the work that goes into making this show, there are a couple of ways you can help support it. One is to subscribe, whether it is on Apple Podcasts, Overcast, or wherever you get your podcasts. Just hit the subscribe button. Another is to rate the show. On Overcast, it's really easy. Just tap the star icon on this episode. On Apple Podcasts, just go to cadavy.net/Apple, click on write a review, and click on the star rating. You don't even have to write a review. It really just takes a couple of seconds. You can also join Love Your Work Elite. You'll get access to episodes before everyone else. You can even get ad-free interviews weeks in advance, and you can get your name or business mentioned in the credits of the show. For details, go to cadavy.net/elite. That's cadavy.net/elite. Love Your Work is brought to you in part by top Love Your Work Elite members such as Arif Akhtar. This has been Love Your Work, and I'm David Cadavy. The theme music for this show is More Streets, performed by Spiderflower. Love Your Work is a production of Cadavy, Inc.